Brandon.
Okay, guys, real quick, I just got off the phone with Texas DPS and was able to file a formal complaint against Ethan Klein of the H3 podcast. Here is kind of what I went through in order to file this complaint. Not really easy to file a complaint. Now, truth be told, I did not dial 911. My guess is if I had dialed 911 or chosen the emergency information, emergency complaint, I would have gotten through a lot quicker. So in their defense, I chose non-emergency, mainly because I did not want to tie up and get in the way of any other potential emergencies that were happening right now, since this Ethan person made this death threat against all the people in the NRA a couple of days ago. And of course, the convention is over now. I'm just now finding out how to get through there. So that's why I wanted you guys to see this.
I watch Texas. How can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. I just returned from the NRA annual meeting in Houston, Texas at the George R. Brown Convention Center. And while I was in there, there was a person online. His name is Ethan Klein. He was on a podcast, and he made the comment that someone should bomb that building, and later said, "Let's kill everyone in that effing building." And I'd like to file an actual complaint against this person. I was one of the people.
What was the name?
His name is Ethan Klein, E-T-H,
How do you spell the last name?
I'm sorry, K-L-E-I-N, and his podcast is, I think, H3 Podcast or the H3 Podcast, and those were the...
YouTube?
That's where I pulled the video down from, but I don't think that's where he publishes. I think he's just on a regular podcast. I guess you could get that on Spotify or wherever. Again, I don't follow the guy. I just... was told about this and researched it, and he did in fact say that while I was there. And I feel like, there were signs that the Uvalde killer had made some statements online, and those weren't followed up on. I just feel like these things have to be followed up on.
Yep, well, that's what our department is for. So I do have the podcast pulled up, and you said, do you remember what the specific video was?
I can send.
It was titled something.
I can send. Well, I think it's been taken down by YouTube now. Thankfully, but I can send you the video clip. I have a video clip on my phone of it. Actually,
Okay, yeah, that would be perfect. So if you could go on our website, it's iwatchtx.com. Let me make sure it's com, not org. And it'll give you the option to basically submit all the information and add attachments. That way we can get the attachments directly, but we'll go ahead and start working on this now.
okay. And is there a way you guys can communicate back to me after you've done whatever you do?
Just go ahead and put your information, your contact information in the reporting party, portion of the report, and then once it gets sent out to the region, it would be Harris County. They would be the ones to follow up, not us.
Okay. It's Harris County Sheriff's Department?
It would be DPS.
DPS, okay. And you're with DHS?
No, we're with DPS.
You're with DPS, okay.
We're just the counterterrorism department of DPS.
I follow you, because I was online trying to get through DHS and got you guys, so I didn't know who I ended up winding up with.
Yeah, honestly, this is pretty much exactly what our department processes. We process online threats and threats that are made. If you were to have said it to you directly, then you could obviously immediately report it to police, but also report it to us. So you contacted the right people. Okay.
Well, I sure appreciate it. And again, hopefully you guys are successful in getting this taken care of.
Yeah, just go ahead and make sure, again, that website was iwatchtx.org. And it'll give you the prompts to do a short report to us, and we'll get that as soon as you submit it.
Perfect. I just wrote that down, and I'm going to go make that file that statement right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your help. Bye-bye. All right, let me go fill all this out. So the process is somewhat simple. You go to their website, and as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to make sure that I was not clogging up any emergency personnel for any, timely emergencies that were happening at that very moment. So where it asked me the type of incident, even though it's school related because the school was what initiated his comments. I wanted to make sure that I stayed away from that and did not clog up those lines of anything that might be actually school related. I'm not going to, for instance, call a school shooting like the far left does just because gangsters are on school property when they actually shoot people. So this was the screen that it took me to, asked me to create a report. So I just simply went on to the next screen after that. And it brought me to an interesting thing that I wasn't expecting. What's the location of the activity? Of course, I wanted to choose California because I believe that's where he was podcasting from. And then I thought, well, the incident itself that he was referring to was in Texas. And then I was like, okay, wait a minute. This was online activity, and that probably helps them narrow that down a little bit more anyway, to go to whatever cyber crime unit it may need to go to. So that's why I chose that. Now, this was the most challenging part to me, other than the CAPTCHA at the very end here. Trying to describe this person. Gender being from California, and as oddball as he is, I've only seen this one video of him, but not to be disrespectful to him, even though he was disrespectful to me, I chose unknown, just to not make any kind of assumptions there. Height, no idea, because the guy was sitting down. Build, I did choose obese on that because I just kind of made a judgment call on that. I do make an assumption that he's white. I think he may be. So again, not that that matters. Where it says at the very end, comments, clothing, distinguishing features, I put unclean looking tie-dyed t-shirt. Again, this is a judgment call based on what the video is that I saw. I think that's the most accurate description that I could make based on what the Mr. Klein is wearing in his video threat. Now, when it goes on to describe the activity, how suspicious was the activity? I chose highly suspicious. There were other suggestions that I could make, but I feel like this was highly suspicious. I do think this is a credible threat by this person. Was the person or persons attempting to conceal their behavior? I said no, I didn't think they were. So then I put the length of the detail of the complaint. Ethan Klein of the H3 podcast made death threats against myself and tens of thousands of other innocent people in the convention center in Houston, Texas, there for the NRA annual meeting. His exact comments included, someone should bomb that building and let's kill everyone in that effing building. Many of the more recent rampage killings of innocent people have been preceded by online threats, much less violent than Mr. Klein's, and the killers went on to commit their horrible acts after their threats either went unnoticed or were ignored. Mr. Klein's actions and comments are unacceptable, reckless, and dangerous. I felt like, all joking aside, this was a good representation of this person's threats and the credible nature of what I think they are and why I think they shouldn't be ignored, because I do think they are credible, especially knowing that he has such a large following. And it's a very good chance that some of his followers are very, very unhinged. And I do feel like even though the convention is over, he has set the precedent out there for how he feels about how people like me and other innocent Americans should be treated just because we are Second Amendment rights followers and supporters. So then I could upload my attachments. So what I did is I uploaded the actual video, the entire video of what took place regarding this. And I wanted to make sure that these folks had a good copy of this to know that I wasn't just simply making something up or embellishing on something. So then it just was able to refer all the information that I had and read it back to me. And then it had the CAPTCHA, which was almost as challenging as trying to identify how much Mr. Klein weighed and what he was, gave me a reference number, and then simply went on to thank me for filing the report. So I do believe that I have what I need supplied here and put in form to make sure that this is an actual formal documented complaint. I do intend to hear back from them. I left my email and my phone number, so my goal is that I do hear back from them to make sure that this complaint was acted on properly. Now I'm going to go to the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI and make similar complaints. I think that this needs to be done all the way across the board.
Let's go, Brandon.